Howdy, this is Colin with Soundpaint, and today I'm super stoked to give a new demo walkthrough of a new product launching on Soundpaint, and that is the upcoming remastered Blackbird Drums. So if you're not familiar with Blackbird Drums, this was a prior library released on ATO. It's a beautiful sounding drum library that's been deeply sampled, and it's an incredible sounding drum kit with incredible attention to detail that was stunningly recorded, mixed and mastered by the mixing engineer for Periphery. So this is a great sounding kit. Now, fast forward to 2024, bringing everything over into Soundpaint, we're trying to update Soundpaint. So the goal was to remaster a beautiful sounding drum kit and modernize it, and also just provide a simple approach for people to be able to have accessible sounds and use this kit really quickly and not have to fuss around with settings or mic placements or anything like that. So the impetus was to create something really fun, engaging, and just an addicting drum set to play with, so that you have lots of fun and you just can grab it, reach for it really quickly, and get running. So with that said, I'm just going to go through a quick layout of how this library presents when you open it in Soundpaint. So here we are, it's in the drum category here, and then there's a drop down menu here, so you'll just open it here. And so the kits themselves are sorted into three main categories. So you have ARP kits, which are just designed to have the ARP engaged automatically, so that if you want to sample or audition what the drum kit sounds like playing a beat, you can literally just play one of the keys and it'll start that drum beat for you. And that's what the ARP kits. The core kits are basically the same kits except no ARP engaged. They're ready to be played on the keys. And then the Sound Labs are the creative inspirational kits that, you know, if you want something a little bit with more pizzazz, more stylized, more character, definitely want to look in that category. So to start, let's just jump through these ARP kits real quick and we can sample what these sound like. So the name convention for the kits isn't really geared towards anything specific. It's more like a vibe. So it's the vibe or the feeling or the type of color or the tone potentially that's being hinted in the name of the drum. You have 15 flavors of the drum kit, including the original clean OG kit. So what that means is you have 15 incredible expressions and vibes, eras, if you want, flavors of drum kits to be able to play with. So from the top here, we have Beefy, and let's just see what that sounds like. So if I play any of the keys, it's automatically mapped to play the ARP. Additionally, I have the mod wheel, which is set to a filter as well as EQ settings. So if I reduce the mod wheel, you're actually going to hear the curve change and the actual sound change of the audio too. So let's just give this a quick whirl. So this is the Beefy Kit. Immediately, you can just tell how dynamic and tight and controlled that is. There's plenty of low end with great detail on the high end. The hi-hats cut through beautifully. The snare has great detail. And it's just a super nice sounding kit. If I wanted to just play around with the mod wheel, here's what that sounds like too. And as you can see, I can filter it down like a DJ and I can really get a nice balance. I can also use this to mix. So if I wanted to not have as bright a sounding drum kit, about 70% mod wheel, I don't have to have it all the way open, and I can use that filter that's built in, and it just sounds great. Super warm, still punchy and really dynamic. Just a great sounding drum kit. So that's the Beefy Kit. Let's try the Carbon. Just great space. Love that cross stick. Let's filter it out. Still really dynamic, really punchy. This is great for just using as a mix effect, just to get creative. Nice. So that's the Carbon Kit. Next we have the original clean OG kit. So this is the clean drum kit from the original sample library that has nothing on it. It's just the original samples, beautifully restored and brought into Soundpaint. Additionally though, you can play the ARP and you have a mod wheel which controls the filter. So let's check what that sounds like. Just really nicely warms up that kit. How about Darkness? Nice. Super fat, punchy, a bit more of a retro vibe on that. Demon Kit. This is a bit more geared towards aggressive rock. Really punchy transients on the kick, so you can really get like fast patterns going, which is really awesome. So the pattern for this just really shows off a great rhythm you can do. Love that. Great. That's the Demon Kit. Here's Dual Era. So this is a version of the Era kit, which is a vintage sounding, very retro kit, very sweet kind of a Motown 50s, 60s vibe. So the Dual Era kit has the Era kit pitched up 5 semitones and put on top, so you actually get a bit more top end bite and aggression. It's a very fun flavor of this Era kit. Here's the other Era kit, which is the original Era kit, just as is. Really, really nice. Just, that's one of my favorite sounding kits of all, for sure. One thing I want to show is in the effects, you have great little ready to go setup here, programmed effects. What you'll notice is as I modulate the mod wheel, it's not just the filter that's changing dynamically. You also have these EQ curves. And as you can see, as I reduce my mod wheel, you can see the EQ points actually reducing. So we really enjoyed being able to not just have a basic filter. It's not just a static filter throughout the curve. The actual EQ treatment on the drums themselves changes as you're adjusting the mod wheel. So that's a really fun thing you can adjust. You can also make these changes yourself and actually program your own curve if you want, almost like a tape curve. So as you adjust the mod wheel, the EQ curve in Soundpaint actually responds accordingly. All right, let's check out the Fighter kit. That snare. What a great sounding snare drum. Just has so much bite and aggression. I love the smack on that snare drum. Wow, so good. And it's got a little bit of space, just enough to give it presence, but it's really tight, really, really tight and controlled. Focuser. This one's a little bit not as aggressive, but again, just tight and controlled and really clean. Just nice sense of dynamics, really clean on those hits, but nice punch on everything. Really, really nice. Golden kit. This is another more retro affair. This is really, really nice. Very warm. Great. The hi-hats sound amazing on that one too. Just awesome. Lennys kit. Really fat bottom on that one. Great. The snare and the kick, where they work, there's a little bit of space on those and it's just nice. It just places things a bit back, but still keeps the snare up front. So you get this really focused upfront sound, but you get a bit of an expansive sense of, you know, being in an actual recording space as well. It's just great. Okay, here's Prince's kit. Very reminiscent. Super awesome. That's a really fun one. Pulse kit. So this one is a more retro, lighter on the flavor, I guess you could say, but no less fun and interesting sounding as well. To me, this has more of like a sampled vinyl sound to it, and that's really the impetus that we were trying to accomplish, was capturing eras of sound, you know, these vintage recordings that have the most beautiful sounding drum tone. It was almost like, how can we create that and put that in these drum kits so that you just load up a snapshot of a vibe of an era of a specific record that you just love. So let's check out the Pulse kit. So much detail in the articulation you can still hear, but it sounds like it's really captured that vibe beautifully. Okay, here's the Sand kit. This one's got a bit more grit, a bit more of a round, full sound to it. Very, very kind of vintage and woody. Speed kit. This is a bit more of a modern sounding kit. Awesome. That's a great little beat there, just to show off how tight and controllable that one is. And lastly, but not least, this is the Vintage Oak. Again, more retro sounding on this. Super fun. And here we have a couple more inspirational kits. These are just stylized and just, fun flavors and expressions of the original kits. So we have Amy's kit here, and let's check out what this sounds like. Great kind of expansive vintage sound on that one. We have Depeche Morph. Great, just a nice tight responsive sound on that one. We have DMC Morph. We have the dual kit, which is actually a combination of the Pulse and Lennys Kit. And the great thing is you can load up any of these kits and actually just blend them, so you can create any number of combinations of these kits. And again, you have 15 exclusive discrete kits that have been remastered off of the original samples. We have one note tom kit, and so this is toms that have been spread out onto all the keys, so you have some really great sounding toms. I go down the octaves. Great kind of pitch on these. There's a bit of an aggressive mid-tone that I really like. A bit almost like a bark on that tom, like it barks out, but really nice, very aggressive. That would be really nice on trailers because it's got that kind of bit of like a bark kind of sound on the tom where you've got that bit of the skin and mid frequencies that really punch through. So lastly, but not least, you have Tom Tom Play Go, which sounds like this. Just a really nice fat tom sound. And it's really dynamic, if I can play really softly. And that's the beautiful thing, is everything's super dynamic, so you can really get nice performances. I love that. Listen to how big that sounds. So fat. All right, now I wanted to jump in and really quickly just show you this fun jam session that I made, because I think it's a better way to show off all the kits in a cool piece of music. So it's very simple. We have drums. I have low booms that are just doing this. Just, giving me a little bit of a hit on the downbeat. We also have background loop. And then we've got some modular synth kind of stuff that I recorded. And then we have some cool like keyboards and pads. And so that's basically it. And then the kits are just playing a really fun rhythm that I've kind of modified throughout. And the goal is I have each kit playing the rhythm for 2 bars, and then I cycle to the next kit, and then I just keep going through all the kits. And so that's really it. And without further ado, let's check it out. And that's my demo for Blackbird. Hope you enjoyed the walkthrough, and I hope that put the library through its paces and gives you a taste of what you can do with it. And I think it's a great drum library. It's awesome for just making beats. It's going to be awesome for working on epic music. Those toms sound huge. And they're, again, 15 really great sounding kits. So for whatever flavor or vibe you're trying to go for, there's likely something that's going to be really appropriate for what you're trying to do. So, you know, the world's your oyster with a kit like this. So with that said, we'll see you around. Cheers.